tongue, always mocking my weight for laughs. At our high school graduation dinner, someone joked that Corey and I were childhood sweethearts. He slammed his fork down, face twisting in disgust. Are you insane? Who'd like a whale like Wendy? I hang out with her out of pity. The table roared. Carter, our class president, frowned. You're blind, Corey. Wendy's bone structure is better than anyone here. If she lost the weight, you wouldn't be fit to tie her shoes. Silence flickered, then laughter exploded again. Serious, Carter? Her? Corey scoffed, eyeing me mockingly. If she loses weight and looks half as good as Bella, I'll kneel and apologize. But we all know that'll never happen. More howls of laughter. Under the table, my fists clenched. 8 years of secret feelings shattered in that instant. That night, I stood before my full-length mirror. 5'8", 200 pounds. I made 2 quiet decisions. 1, I would lose the weight. 2, I would not follow him to Colombia. Back at the restaurant, Bella, the reigning prom queen, had laughed the loudest. She deliberately dropped a greasy piece of pork belly onto my plate. Don't be sad, Wendy. Eat up. A full stomach makes you forget everything. Someone else immediately chimed in. Exactly. Our Wendy doesn't need a boyfriend. A plate of ribs is all she needs. The table exploded again. Corey leaned back in his chair, a lingering smirk playing on his lips as he scrolled through his phone. He acted completely detached, like the humiliation he just orchestrated had nothing to do with him. Carter shot him a dark look, but chose not to start a fight. Meanwhile, Bella leaned over and whispered something directly into Corey's ear. Corey let out a low, husky chuckle. It wasn't loud, but in the chaotic room, I heard it perfectly. I set my chopsticks down on the ceramic rest. I'm heading out. Bella instantly plastered on a mask of fake concern. Wendy, please don't be mad. We were honestly just joking around. I ignored her completely. I grabbed my purse and walked toward the exit. As I passed Corey's chair, he didn't even bother to look up. He was too busy texting Bella. I stopped right beside him. Corey. He finally lifted his head, his eyes laced with heavy impatience. What? I just looked at him. My mind flashed back to when we were 6 years old. He had just moved into the house next door and scraped his knee on the pavement. I was the one who crouched in the dirt, digging desperately through my tiny backpack just to find my only band-aid for him. When he put it on, he gave me a brilliant, toothy smile. I held on to that single smile for 8 years. Every single word you said today. My voice was eerily quiet. One day, you are going to regret them. He raised an eyebrow, letting out a dismissive scoff. Me? Regret? I guarantee you I will never. I didn't stick around to hear the rest. I pushed the heavy restaurant doors open and walked out into the night. The street was suffocatingly quiet. My hands were shaking violently, but I refused to let a single tear fall. It wasn't that I didn't feel the pain. It was because it hurt so deeply that crying felt completely useless. My best friend Gemma chased after me, grabbing my wrist tightly. Wendy, I swear to God I will go back in there right now and dump a drink on his... Gemma. I cut her off, my voice raw and scraped hollow. Just walk with me. The amber streetlights stretched our shadows out across the pavement. We walked for a long time before I finally spoke again. He's right about one thing. I am 200 pounds, but he said I could never lose it. I am going to make him eat those words. Gemma bit her lip hard and didn't say a word. She just squeezed my hand tighter. When I finally got home, the house was completely dark. My parents were already asleep. I stood alone in the bathroom under the harsh fluorescent lights. I actually had a medium frame, but it was completely buried. My face was dangerously round, my jawline practically non-existent. But as I leaned closer to the glass, I saw the truth. My eye shape was striking. The bridge of my nose was naturally high, and there was a tiny, delicate beauty mark resting right beneath the outer corner of my eye. Carter's words echoed in my ears. If she ever lost the weight, you wouldn't even be fit to tie her shoelaces. Was it true? I didn't know. But tonight, my mind was set. First, I was dropping the weight. My goal was 115 pounds. Second, I unlocked my phone and logged straight into the university admission portal. My cursor hovered over Columbia University's Fine Arts program. I stared at those glowing letters for a long time. I picked that major 3 years ago solely to stay close to Corey. I spent countless sleepless nights perfecting my portfolio just to make sure we ended up in the same city. Enough. I hit delete. In the search bar, I typed UCLA. Distance. 3,000 miles away. My thumb hovered over the confirm button. 1 second. 2 seconds. I pressed it. Status. Submitted. I tossed my phone onto the mattress, switched off the lamp, and stared up at the dark ceiling. I didn't shed a single tear. Instead, an unfamiliar, absolute peace washed over my chest. Wendy, starting tomorrow, you are living for yourself. The alarm dragged me out of bed at 5 in the morning. The sky outside was still pitch black. I laced up my running shoes, stepped out into the freezing air, and started jogging along the river trail. On the first day, I barely made it a mile before I felt like my lungs were collapsing. By the third day, I pushed it to 2 miles. My knees throbbed so badly I could barely walk up the stairs. On the 5th day, I finished 3 miles and immediately threw up in the bushes. But I never skipped a single morning. On the evening of the 6th day, I was stretching against the brick wall outside my apartment building when Corey walked up. He was returning from the basketball court, spinning a ball on his finger. He stopped and looked me up and down. Why are you dripping in sweat? I didn't answer. I just switched legs and kept stretching. He leaned casually against the wall, his tone dripping with his usual careless arrogance. People in the group chat are saying you're actually trying to run to lose weight. I stayed completely silent. He just kept talking, convinced he knew everything. If you're serious, just buy a gym membership. Jogging on the street won't do anything for a baseline like yours. Honestly, just forget it. He paused, then shifted the topic. Anyway, Columbia's orientation is September 3rd. Did you join the freshman group chat yet? My hands briefly stalled. He fully believed I was still going to Columbia. Everyone did. I stood up straight, keeping my face completely blank, and walked toward the lobby doors. He called called out from behind me. Hey, did you join or not? I can send you the invite link. The heavy glass door clicked shut, instantly cutting off his voice. As I walked up the stairs, the corners of my mouth curled up into a cold smile. Keep waiting, Corey. When September 3rd rolls around, you'll figure it out. On the 8th night, someone dropped a video into our high school group chat. It was a clip of me running along the river, heavy, ragged breathing, a sweat-drenched t-shirt clinging to my back, everything jiggling violently with every heavy step. Whoever filmed it intentionally zoomed in from the most unflattering angle possible. I am screaming, laughing. Wendy is actually trying to exercise. Corey's comment at dinner really did a number on her. Didn't Carter say she had potential? I'm using a magnifying glass and I still can't find a single cheekbone. Bella chimed in. Keep it up, Wendy. Columbia's art department is packed with gorgeous girls. If you don't slim down before orientation, you're going to feel so insecure. Smiley face. Then, Corey's name popped up. My heart skipped a tiny beat. He wrote, "Stop posting this childish crap." Someone immediately teased, "Aw, is Corey catching feelings?" He replied instantly, "You guys have way too much free time. Let her do whatever she wants. What she does has absolutely nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. Right. It never had anything to do with him. I secretly loved him for 8 years, and he said it had nothing to do with him. I bled over my sketchbooks for 3 years to get into his dream school, and he said it had nothing to do with him. Fine. From now on, I truly have nothing to do with you." I muted the group chat. I opened Gemma's messages. "I'm going to my grandma's cabin in Montana until college starts. Keep it a secret. If anyone asks, you don't know anything. Gemma, my lips are sealed. Just promise me you'll come back alive." I smiled and sent an okay emoji. Then, I opened my text thread with Corey. I scrolled through 3 years of pathetic, one-sided messages. "My mom made your favorite ribs. Want to come over for dinner? It started raining. I brought an umbrella to the court for you. Good night." Every single message was left unread. Occasionally, he would reply with a cold, "Yeah, got it," or "Stop bothering me." I took a deep breath. Delete contact. Block number. I didn't hesitate for a single second. The next morning, I dragged my suitcase out to the sidewalk. I ran straight into Corey's mother checking her mailbox. "Wendy, honey, where are you off to?" "I'm staying with my grandma for the summer, Mrs. Davis." "Oh, well, when Corey comes over for dinner next week." "Mrs. Davis?" I smiled politely. Corey is 18 now. I don't think he needs my mom cooking for him anymore. As I dragged my luggage toward the waiting taxi, a window slid open on the second floor of the house next door. I knew exactly whose bedroom that was, but I didn't look back. Not even once. My grandma's cabin was buried deep in the mountains. Cell service was basically a myth, and Wi-Fi simply did not exist. The moment I arrived, I turned my phone off and locked it in a drawer. Every single morning, I woke up at 5 and ran the brutal mountain trails. In the afternoons, I swam laps in the freezing lake. By evening, I was chopping firewood and hauling soil for my grandma's garden. My diet was violently strict. Boiled chicken breast, steamed vegetables, and small portions of complex carbs. Week 1, I dropped 8 pounds, down to 192. Week 2, another 7, down to 185. By week 3, the weight loss started slowing down. I forced myself to add an extra mile to my morning run and started doing bodyweight strength training in the dirt. Week 4, 175. In exactly 1 month, I had lost 25 pounds. The mirror showed progress, but it wasn't earth-shattering yet. My face wasn't as bloated, but my jawline was still buried. My clothes hung loosely off my frame, making me look like a deflated balloon. I didn't let it break my focus. Keep going. Week 5, 168. Week 6, 160. I turned my phone on for the very first time. Dozens of texts flooded the screen. They were all from Gemma. "Corey texted me. He asked where you went. I played dumb. He asked me again today. He even asked if you changed your number." LMAO, guess what he told the guys? He said, "She's just throwing a tantrum. Give it a few days and she'll come running back." I let out a harsh laugh. "Throwing a tantrum? Corey, you really think you are the center of the universe?" I kept scrolling. Gemma sent another update. "He's getting super close with Bella." Today, Bella posted a picture of them getting smoothies after his game. The whole group chat is asking if they're officially dating. I stared at the message. I waited for the familiar twist of jealousy in my gut. Surprisingly, there was nothing. It didn't hurt. It genuinely did not hurt anymore. I powered down the phone and went back to training. Week 7, 150. Week 8, 142. The reflection in the mirror started changing violently. My jawline carved itself out, sharp and defined. My cheekbones surfaced, making it look like my entire face had been resculpted from clay. My proportions finally made sense. My collarbones were visible. My legs went from stocky to long and lean. But it wasn't enough. I knew my absolute best was still hiding underneath. Keep going. Week 9, 135. I drove my grandma's rusty truck down to the local pharmacy to pick up her medication. When I handed the prescription to the young girl at the counter, she froze. She stared at my face for an uncomfortably long time. "Are you an actress? You look exactly like that girl from..." My grandma quickly grabbed the bag and pulled me out the door. When we got back to the cabin, my grandma sat on the porch looking deeply troubled. "Your mother was exactly like this," she muttered. "Before middle school, she was just a chubby, harmless little thing. Then she lost the baby fat over a single summer, and the entire town went absolutely crazy. But you are much more dangerous than your mother." I laughed it off, thinking she was just being dramatic. Week 10, 128. I turned on my phone for the second time. A fresh text from Gemma. "Corey told me to warn you that if you don't join the Columbia freshman group soon, you're going to miss room selections." His exact words, "Is she really still throwing a fit? Tell her I'm not going to babysit her on campus, so she better drop the attitude." Reading those words, I couldn't help but smile. He still fully believed I was heading to New York. He still thought I was going to follow him around like a lost puppy. "Corey, what kind of fever dream are you living in?" I typed a quick reply to Gemma. "Don't tell a single soul I'm going to UCLA, especially him. Let him figure it out the hard way." Gemma replied with a string of laughing emojis. "Yes, ma'am. I cannot wait to see the look on his stupid face." Week 11, 120. My grandma officially banned me from going into town. The day before yesterday, when you were reading by the lake, 3 boys from the neighboring ranch sat in their truck and stared at you for 4 straight hours. Did you even notice? It's not that serious, Grandma. Go look in the damn mirror. I did. And then I fell completely silent. The girl staring back at me was a stranger.